I love hearing it when people get their just dessert. Robocalls have become a scourge in recent years, and they've only grown worse since callers figured out how to fake consumer phone numbers, making a call appear to come from somewhere near you. No one's had much luck stopping them, but the FCC is finally close to issuing a fine against someone using this tactic. The Commission announced recently that it's proposing a $37.5 million fine against a company based in Arizona that allegedly made 2.3 million telemarketing calls under false phone numbers. One woman whose phone number was used said she ended up getting 5 calls per day on her cell phone from people complaining about being spammed. The robocall campaign started back in 2016 and ran for 14 months straight, according to the Commission. Some calls are also said to have come from unassigned numbers or numbers from burner phones, which would also violate caller ID laws because the actual caller's name and number were hidden. The FCC says this is the first major enforcement action against a company that apparently commandeered consumer phone numbers. For now, the fine remains a proposal which the accused company will have a chance to fight or settle. The calls were said to be made by a company named Affordable Enterprises as a way to sell home remodeling services. In addition to proposing the fine against Affordable Enterprises, the FCC is also finalizing another robocalling fine today. This one is against a specific telemarketer who was selling health insurance. The Commission is fining him $82 million for making 21 million robocalls. Those calls were also spoofed to show fake numbers, but they relied on unassigned phone numbers instead of numbers currently in use. These fines could help to deter other bad actors, but ultimately they won't be enough. Many robocalls now originate overseas, limiting what the FCC can do to fight them. Instead, the Commission has been leaning on phone and tech companies to help out by giving them leeway to block calls that appear to be coming from spammers. Though, at least so far, that obviously hasn't been enough either. Amazon recently opened up another retail location, this one in New York City. But this one, the company's third in Manhattan, is a little bit different than the standard Amazon bookstore. It's called Amazon 4-Star. And the name gives away the store's premise. Amazon 4-Star stocks items that have an average customer review rating of 4 stars on Amazon.com and above. There are also sections for new, trending, and top sellers where featured products don't necessarily have to meet the 4-star rating. The store's selection will be changed out and refreshed on a frequent basis. How frequent, it's not known, but in some cases weekly, according to one employee. There will be mainstays too, like Amazon's own hardware products that will obviously be a permanent staple of the store. In total, Amazon 4-Star stocks around 2,000 items on its shelves and tables. All of them have been curated and picked by Amazon, thus cutting out any companies that game the review system. And there are a few surprises when it comes to brands you'll see. Besides some items, you'll find a small card with a quote from an Amazon customer review. Kind of a cool little touch. For now, Amazon is focusing on those areas in what it chooses to sell at 4-star. Devices, consumer electronics, kitchen, home, toys, books, games. But there are also many items like a dog DNA testing kit that don't belong to any of those sections and are placed on a more general gifts wall. If you've ever stressed about what to buy for a 2-year-old in your life, Amazon takes out the guesswork with different gift sections based on the person's age. There's also a dedicated area for Amazon Launchpad. That includes products from startups, like a gadget meant to help improve your posture. But it's very clear that there's some paid placement involved in the store too. Take, for example, the giant Roomba installation that eats up a fair amount of floor space. You're telling me iRobot isn't paying a hefty sum for that exposure? Unsurprisingly, Amazon's own devices and Alexa are a huge focus at the store. The Echoes and Fire tablets get their own showcase tables, same for Ring's doorbells and video cameras, and there's a small army of third-party speakers from Sonos, Bose, Ultimate Ears, and many others, plus a bunch of Alexa-capable gadgets like headphones, Philips Hue lights, Ecobee thermostats, and much, much more. This is a tech-heavy store, and if you're a fan of the Amazon website and you want to be able to browse that in person, it sounds like this is your first opportunity. NASA is testing tiny satellites about the size of a shoebox to monitor global storms, and it's seeing promising early results. With the RAIN Cube, that stands for Radar in a CubeSat, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory wants to see whether smaller satellites can deliver more comprehensive weather data faster and at a lower cost. The idea is that mini satellites that fly together like geese can give more frequent real-time looks into storms and thus track the movement of rain, snow, sleet, and hail more accurately. They actually will end up doing much more interesting, insightful science with the constellation than with just one of them, so say the researchers. Scientists for JPL said what we're learning in Earth sciences is that space and time coverage is more important than having a really expensive satellite instrument that just does one thing. RAIN Cube weighs about 26 pounds. Its umbrella-like 1.6-foot, 50-centimeter antenna sends out specialized radar signals into a storm's layers. The signals bounce off the raindrops and send back the snapshot from inside the weather whirl. Radar systems are known to be large, but JPL engineers were able to reduce the size and mass to fit into one CubeSat, a class of nanosatellites. The smaller radar payload also consumes much less power. We don't know much more than that at this point, but I'll definitely keep you updated when we learn more right here on your weekly Tech Update.